with the death of the Pope, the conspiracies completely started popping up very quickly. And the number one, well, there's two conspiracies that I saw. The first one is that J.D. Vance meeting with him had something to do with this. He just was with him hours before. So I instantly saw this, and I was like, oh my gosh, they started. This man it hasn't even been a day, and they started with it.
Yeah, I'm not a doctor, but I knew he only had 7 hours left.
Pope dies 7 hours after this photo.
I mean, what do they want with this man, J.D. Vance?
Well, J.D. Vance
is the sweetest guy.
Yeah, J.D. Vance is a Catholic, and this is now being connected to J.D. Vance with regards to this, and it says, "Move aside, CIA, FSB, and Mossad. You've got nothing on the J.D. Vance."
They're joking though, right?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Wow,
I have no idea. But there was another theory around this. They're saying it's because he just put out a statement condemning Israel not Israel, but like the situation in Gaza. Okay, this is it. So I don't know if this is accurate or not, but this is another conspiracy theory. Pope Francis told the world it is not war in Gaza. It is slaughter. It is terror. It is cruelty. Yesterday, children were bombed. That is cruelty. That is not war. Humanity has lost a friend in the passing of France. Rest in peace. So they were connecting this with the situation, and of course, the news is running with this idea. In the months before his death, Pope Francis called Gaza's only Catholic parish every night. Yeah. So they're saying because he was pro-Palestinian, I guess you would say, or what would you say? Anti-Israel, that this could have contributed to him going before his demise.
Wow, the tiny hats came for the other tiny hat. He had the little papal,
different
hat.
Different kind of hat.
Yep, different hats. That's the conspiracy. That's insane.
So the grabbing this to run with a narrative for political points on said enemies, that is interesting. That like whenever something like this happens, the internet just runs and polarizes a situation like this instead of like people know. There's Catholics in this chat. Was like we were preparing.
Yeah, it was months ago. We did a video on it.
Yeah,
we're like, oh, this might be it for him.
Yeah. Then there's Catholic creators that were talking about like what happens when the Pope
Matt
dies.
Frad.
Yeah,
we reacted to his thing, and then he got flamed because they said it was importantized. Because they said it was too early. JD Vance didn't even pull up in a red tie. He came in a nice neutral yellow tie.
What does that have to do?
All the presidents, all the Democrats wear blue ties. All the Republicans wear red ties, and that's their single marker. It's like a gang bandana. He pulled up in a yellow tie. I don't think it was a political agenda. People were like, wow. And then there's all this weird stuff. They're like, he spat in the face of J.D. Vance, owned the Republicans. And I was like, I think he was about to die and he was taking meetings as his body was shutting down.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That's kind of my take. And so, that man was a hustler. He had godly ambition.
That is where we are not doing a book integration.
All I'm saying
with that is you're wilding with that.
All I'm saying,
you're out of control right now.
All I'm saying is there's conspiracies and they're not okay, bad. When I think of Catholics, I think of yellow. Boom.
What?
He's wearing a yellow tie. J.D. Vance wearing a yellow tie. Someone says when I think of Catholics, I think of yellow. I think I agree.
Jonathan said, "What's your view on Pope Francis as a non-Catholic and your thoughts on the future of the Catholic Church?" What's my view on Pope Francis? I don't really have a view on Pope Francis. That's why I'm asking Catholics what they think about Pope Francis.
I agree. Some evangelical on Twitter wouldn't say I align with this position, but I'm sure this is a lot of what other Protestants would say. They're like, I just see him as a guy, kind of like a politician.
Yeah, well, some people like Mockingjay said, I'm Protestant, but Pope Francis was the only pope that has visited Albania. So respect. So you can just see a value in what someone symbolizes without having to go all in on all the dogmas around it. And so there's going to be Protestants that like, hey, like he came to my small country that people don't visit, and that meant something to me because it was a symbolic gesture. He shined a light on something, right? So I think that could be beneficial. I don't know enough about. I know that the feedback I heard from many Catholics was that he was a bit on the liberal side.
Yeah.
And so the concern has been, when you're talking to James White versus Voice of Reason, and James White is saying, hey, man, if the Catholic Church goes liberal on homosexuality, then that falsifies the church, basically. And Voice of Reason goes, correct. If the Catholic Church ever becomes affirming of LGBT, like we've seen some high mainline
totally
Protestant churches, officially, that according to some Catholics, Voice of Reason, one of the best Catholic debaters, falsifies the Catholic Church. So I think if I'm trying to understand,
but he's standing on business.
What's at stake
Yeah.
is if they elect another kind of more liberal leaning pope, which again I don't think he was, considering all the fettuccine drops he did.
I agree.
If they go further left, then that could lead them down the route of, hey, it's cool to ordain gay guys, and you know what I'm saying, like, and that sort of stuff. And I think that could be the slippery slope that I would say more conservative Catholics are treading lightly, and that's why like this is like a moment of, I don't say a moment of crisis, but they're really thinking about it.
Didn't he have that like Muslims can get to heaven too?
That's Vatican II. They've always had concessions for Muslims, and he said they worship the same God, I think. But and again, Jimmy Akin did a great video going over that, and you guys should go listen to Catholics on it.
I like Jimmy Akin.
I don't want to straw man what they actually believe. Jimmy Akin did a video on do Muslims worship the same God. You guys could go watch it. I'm not going to open that can of worms, but that's Vatican II.
Next
so
time
Vatican
we have a Catholic on,
Jewish
that's
people.
coming up.
Yeah, we should definitely talk to them after that.
That's a clip. And then
yeah. So my position is I don't need to have like a formal position. I don't know.
I like that there is a Christian figure that's generally respected around the world by like a lot of parties. Like even like everyone in the U.S. has even if they like make jokes or whatever, have a level of respect. Like you got all the former presidents posting about them, and you got everyone's getting a little piece of the. It's like I like that.
Yep.
I like that. That leans closer to what I believe than what some of these other people are posting. You know?
Yep.
I can respect that.
Thaddeus said, Pope Francis only spent a few minutes with J.D. Vance and quickly decided he didn't want to live anymore. Chill, Thaddeus. What is wrong with you, bro? Thaddeus.
No more mate for you.
No more mate for you.
Go lay down.
Did you watch Andrew Iskar with Tucker Carlson? No. Pope Francis is not wearing his suits meeting with J.D. His suits meeting with J.D. Vance? What? Are you saying he was already down bad when he met him?
No, they're saying that like he has a specific outfit he wears when he's meeting.
Oh, okay. Interesting observation. I wouldn't have meeting him when I was.
Well, I wouldn't even be changing clothes multiple times a day if I was about to die either. So.
Yeah. So listen, pray for the Catholics. I think this should be interesting how it unfolds. I would love to hear from some Catholics about Vatican II, not Vatican III.
Yeah.
Vatican II.
Vatican I, II, and III. Bad Vatican III. I like, you know what I like? I pray for the Catholics and the cardinals of the red, kind of fly. And the whole process, kind of on the, in case I'm wrong, I want y'all to win.
What do you mean? What?
If we're wrong about apostolic succession, and it's also not the Orthodox Church, and it's not the Oriental Orthodox Church, and it's not all the other churches, and it's not the Vatican Oneers. It is what it is, and it's the Pope with Vatican I and II.
Are you saying because it's the most?
I'm saying in that scenario where they are the church, I want them to win, and I pray I pray that they really be choosing someone that's not liberal and not conservative.
Yeah.
If they're the church,
You're saying out of the 8 churches that all claim apostolic succession,
if they're the church, out of all of them that are like, we are the church, I want those cardinals to really be praying and hear from God. I want them to have some.
I would say that you're right in that even the most staunch Catholics will still create a means of which they believe Protestants are saved.
Come on.
But when you get into like the staunch Orthodox folks, they just be like, nah, fam. Like, you outside the church, bro. You outside the church and you're outside of salvation. Not all Eastern Orthodox.
That's not all.
But the staunch ones, like the hardcore ones. Whereas like the hardcore Catholics are more like, I'm talking Catholics that are in
coming on a secular podcast.
I'm talking about like, low key. Like I'm talking to the folks that like still view as believers. They don't do that. So anyway, I'm curious where this goes. I'll be praying for the Catholics. I pray they are comforted in this time of loss. And yeah, Vatican II allows Non-Catholics, including Protestants. That's right. That's right. I think, would Vatican III give us official communion?
Come on. Vatican III give us.
Is it going to be?
Yo. And
No, I'm not talking about just Orthodox. I'm talking Father Harris. Like, Father Harris is very unsure on my salvation because I'm not within the Orthodox Church. And, by the way, not just my salvation, any salvation. Like,
I have these possibly unsaved gentlemen coming in to do a church tour.
Oriental Orthodox. Like, he thinks that they are schismatics and like there's a questions around that. So, hey, thank you so much for checking out the video. Please be sure to comment below and subscribe and all that good stuff. And check out this other video that YouTube seems to be recommending just for you. Let me know if they nailed it. All right, I'll see you over there. Peace.